60 years, but these people's grasp of history is shaky at best, and some of them grew up with stories of the cloud. Once inside, I point them in the direction of our preferred stores. Trimillennium has deals with them. Their staff are supposed to have had special training, and take the escalator to Coffee Monarch. Lee Tran is sitting at the reps table, wearing earphones attached to a native mobile. I'm pleased it's her. Most of the other reps are second or third-gen happiness, straight out of further ed. We're both a few years older and weren't always happiness. After my parents died, I'd been identified as having potential, but without any other happiness in my kin, had to work the tunnels to qualify for the education. It's not the usual rep progression. Most of the people who work the tunnels end up in safety. The ones who enjoy it get requisitioned by the millies. I had the usual offer from safety, but turned it down in favour of more education. Lee's path was also different. She's from City 3 North, a rough place, although she claims it's not as bad as its reputation. We have power and clean water, you know, and schools with teachers. It's not like we're City 2 East. And she travelled before she became a rep, which is rare. The other thing we have in common is that we're shorter than the average happiness. Not by much. Nobody would mistake us for natives, but just enough to make it clear, if only to us, that we don't quite belong. Lee nods at me and takes off her earphones. I can hear a snicker sound like shuffled cards. Native music. "Spence," she says without smiling. "Welcome to hell." Lee works for Heritage, a slightly more expensive operator. Her clients come to the same attractions as mine, but they're ironic about them. They'll wander around, pointing and laughing and quoting the guidebooks to each other with knowing little smiles. I don't like Heritage clients. Lee likes them even less. I sit down. "Problem?" "I knew today was going to be a bad day. I didn't realize how bad." "What's happened, or going to happen?" "Nothing on the record, but the record doesn't include how annoying people can be. The Shin family." She looks down at the main shopping area. Our clients stand out in their shimmering jackets and dark visors. Also in the way, they gather in doorways, blocking the flow of foot traffic, transfixed by the pictures of things for sale. The early 21st loves pictures. It's like people have grown tired of reading. Our clients, Heritage or Trimillennium, are not impressive. The natives walk round them without any overt signs of resentment. Not that I expect any. They've had 10 years to get used to us. "How about you?" Lee asks. "Anything about to happen?" I tell her about the accident. "Some of mine are looking forward to it. At least they won't have to go to a hospital. That's an adventure." Lee spent a night in a hospital after being punched in the face at a musical event in the 1970s, when she was here as part of a research team. The hospital was scarily primitive, but Lee considered it part of the experience. 1976 was wild, she says. It's a period before we made our presence known, so everything had to be clandestine. Lee had been chosen for the team because she was clever and short enough not to stand out. She'd had to dress like the natives and speak their language. Early 21st is tame by comparison, she says, but she liked the popular culture. She still goes to gigs, as she calls them, and earlier this time around had a 2-month affair with a native which ended because he kept asking about lottery numbers and sports results and didn't believe her when she told him she didn't know. He couldn't understand how that information was lost, and she couldn't tell him about the NEE. If she had, she said, he'd either have refused to believe her or thought he could do something about it. A lot of the natives think if they've been warned about an event, they can stop it from happening. Lee calls it the Terminator fallacy, a reference to one of their entertainments. Lee has an anthropologist's interest in their culture. I don't share it. I prefer a different kind of music. Beethoven. His 22nd December 1808 concert is my favourite recording, and one day I mean to go. It won't be soon. Early 19th Vienna is difficult. It's a long stopover, and there's a lot of prep. Languages, medical, plus the usual hazards of being a freakish outsider in a war zone. Anyway, Lee says, have you found out what your breach of protocol is yet? It can't be long now. 3 weeks. It might not happen. It's on my record, if you can believe that. Lee isn't typical. She enjoyed the 1970s, and she's one of the few who hasn't checked her record.